disappears back into the ground. A lot of water coming off the mountain. They've had a lot of rain up here. Kind of pretty.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, this is down on Bergoo Road. We're just coming back to the strip mine. Just kind of pull up here on this bridge, whole bridge. See the Elk River. Everything east of the bridge is catch and release on trout, and to the west you can keep it. This is a big time trout fishing stream in West Virginia. A lot of people come up here to just do nothing but trout fish. A lot of water in the river today. It's running pretty good. It's a little bit stained. A lot of rain up here this fall. I'm just going to turn around over here and go back. This is just some trails that go back over here, but they all dead end up on top of the hill, so it's not real impressive. There's a few campers back here.
There's an old railroad track.
Right there, as you can see, is the old railroad track, and that runs clear into Bergoo, and actually beyond it almost goes back into Webster Springs before the track runs out where they took the old track up. But if you follow that east, there is still track on the ground clear over to Cass, where we're going to go and ride the train Saturday. And they've talked about sometime trying to revamp the rail to bring the steam trains back over in this area, which this is probably about 15 to 20 miles away from Cass. The problem being is it would be awful expensive because of all the trestles and everything that they basically have to rebuild to do it. The rail is all still here. It'd just be a matter of replacing some ties, but it would be awful expensive. But it would be really some ride if they could ever get this to where you could bring a steam train excursion clear over this far down along the Elk River. And that's actually over where Cass is at, is on the Cheat River. So you'd actually, it crosses a mountain range between here and there, and it's really beautiful country. Alright, we're back out on Bergoo Road, which just kind of from here on out follows the Elk River on down through here. Just down here just a little ways is what they call Whitaker Falls. It's just a drop off of the river. It's kind of neat. We've swam in it before. I wouldn't want to swim in it right now. It's cold as it is. The water's pretty cool today. Looks like there's somebody over on the other side. Actually some pretty good sized trout in this river. Albie's going to give you a shot back to the falls here. A lot of water coming over there. That hole of water is pretty deep down below the falls. I've swam in that before. You can't, it's hard to touch bottom until you're way out in it. Back down to Elk Springs Campground. Just kind of give you a little tour of the camp here. Pretty rustic, but it's pretty nice down here. I just relax down here. Phones don't work. You don't get TV unless you have satellite. You got the sound of the Elk River in the background at night when you're sleeping.
Right there.
Walk right down here and trout fish. build cabins. A lot of them take campers and add on to them. Parked over there. That used to be our lot. Sold it to Ron back several years ago. He's done some improvements on it. He put a couple campers in on it. Really nice little place. Always parked the motorhome here.
Okay, I'm recording.
Just the Elk River. Kind of down on the lower end of it, down towards Bergoo. Swimming hole right there. That's a good place to swim in the summertime. This is just going out Bergoo Road back towards Webster Springs. The Elk River pretty much just comes up out of the ground by the trout hatchery. Up above that, it's the dry fork of the Elk River, and unless there's a lot of rain, there's no water ever in it. It all comes up out of the ground. And you figure we're only about 10 miles down below the source of that river. Just tells you the amount of water that comes down through there.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay, this is the big town of Bergoo, which is the closest civilization that we have between here and the camp. This is the last spot. You can buy a cup of coffee, a gallon of gas, or beer or anything. It's right here. From here on into camp, it's about 6.5 miles. Just gonna let the camera run and let you crossing over the Elk right here. Algae is going to pan to the right here. The stream coming into it is the Leatherwood. Another stream. We're going to ride that probably tomorrow and go up to the falls. Alright, hang on. Here we go for a ride. Just to show you what it looks like going into camp from here on out. Beautiful scenery back through here. Notice the road doesn't stay as good as it is right now for the whole trip either. Lots of little cabins, shacks up through here, little camps. Huh? You can see from the mountain up ahead of us, we'll start gaining elevation pretty quick. We're going to stay down along the river, along the road. It's this Bergoo Road. It runs from State Route 15, and it takes you across the valley head over on the other end of the valley on the way to Snowshoe and to Cass. It's probably altogether about 20 miles across here. The road blacktop here for a couple of miles. Almost 5 o'clock. It's starting to get cool up here. It's probably down into the mid-50s now. The sun will be going down here in about another 45 minutes. It gets dark back up here in the holler pretty quick this time of year. It starts getting daylight about 7 o'clock. There's usually a pretty heavy fog on up here, a lot of dew, and it doesn't dry off till about 10. Usually about the time we start seeing sunshine breaking through. You won't be able to see the tops of the mountains a lot of times in the morning because of the fog. Nice little house back here. I'd love to own something like that up here, right on the river. The other side of the river is the old train tracks that ran over around Cass into Bergoo. Years ago they used those when they were logging up off on the Leatherwood and back in behind that up on Red Mountain. The main line is still there. The tracks up the Leatherwood are gone. A couple of the old bridges are still intact. We're going to start seeing a couple rail bridges here before too long. Here's another Camp David. It's down the road about 4 miles. It's a little more well kept than Elk Springs. Elk Springs has really kind of went downhill in the last few years since we've been gone from up here. The lady that owns it doesn't put much money into the upkeep of it anymore. A little nicer accommodation there. Most of the property up through here either belongs to the timber companies or to a mining company. There's not too much privately owned land up here that people can build houses on, so that's how come you don't see a whole lot of houses up through here. Road's going to start getting narrower again now. Every now and then you meet a log truck coming across here. That's real fun because they fly on this road. You see ahead of us, you got the rock wall on the other side. What they got between the rock wall and the river, which isn't a whole lot of ground. Nice little fixer-upper camper here. Probably if you could tow it out of here, you could have it. It used to set down more along the river, and somebody's pulled it out. I think they're probably getting ready to scrap it.
I'd hate to see what's been living in it.
Give you kind of some perspective right ahead of us, the mountain right ahead of us there. That's where we were riding earlier today on over. Pan to your left here, Al, there's a nice little waterfall right back in there. A lot of times in the summertime when it's real dry up here, the water's not running down off the mountains like it is. Springtime and then in the fall, if it's been a wet summer, you get a lot of water comes down off the hills, little waterfalls everywhere. Leatherwood Falls should be really, really pretty. There should be a lot of water coming over it right now. I've got pictures from several years back. It was dry up here one summer. There was hardly any water coming over it at all. And the Elk River, there wasn't a whole lot of water coming down through here. There's the first of one of the railroad trestles we're going to see. Right here, the old rail line comes back onto this side of the road, and about a mile up the road, it's going to cross back over the river and go back on the other side. On the other side because there's just not room for it on this side. Another little camp community right here. Another strip mine area back up on the hillside. We've rode back in there before too. Here's the trestle where it goes back across the river. I have rode a quad across that, but it's been a couple of years back, and I don't know if I'd want to try it again or not. It looks pretty shaky going across there now. A lot of the timbers are really rotted. The steel structure looks pretty good, and the abutments look good, but the timbers are in pretty sad shape, and that's one reason why it would cost so much to ever bring the rail line back up through here again. Is just because of making sure all those trestles are safe, because they practically have to rebuild every one of them. The rail bed itself is probably not that much an expense because the rail is all still there. Just a matter of replacing ties. But it would take a lot of time and a lot of money to ever bring it up. But it would be spectacular down through here on a rail trip if they ever could get it working. Up a little bit in elevation and just kind of leave the river for a minute, or what you can see. Albia can kind of pan down to the right here. They just have to kind of follow the contour where they can put the road back over here.
There's more of the brick wall.
Here's where it gets fun coming in, because it's basically one way from here. Meet somebody coming the other way, little wide spots like this where the guardrail's shoved back is about the only place that you have to go. Otherwise, somebody's got to back up. Nice little hairpin turn down here is a great place to be a log truck on. Don't have to worry about that this time of day. It's too late for them to run. Plus, I haven't seen any evidence where they're logging back in here right now. Looks like they have about a year or so ago, but nothing looks new.